Hey everyone, it's Dr. West, and my patient slash friend Tony started off as a patient and now consider him a friend. And we have an amazing story that someone needs to hear across the street or across the country. It's May 2024. What's amazing about this is I told Tony, hey, you can never have a bad day the rest of your life because you've got a new lease on life, you've got a new chance. And so, Tony, there's someone out there that has something similar to you that needs to hear this, because the most important vitamin, the most important treatment, the most important thing you can do for people is to give them vitamin H, which stands for vitamin hope. It's not a real vitamin. And so, Tony, let's go back a little bit. Like, our paths crossed how long ago?
Probably 3.5, 4 years ago now.
Okay, 3.5. And
other health issues.
Yep. We start off with other health issues. Then you decided to take a trip. You ended up in the other side of the world. And tell everybody what happened.
So visiting our oldest son and his family in Australia, Perth, Australia, a year ago Christmas. Hadn't had a prostate exam for a while. I thought since COVID, and I thought probably time to get in. Plus I was having some swelling in my scrotum, which was broken hydrocele. And I thought, I wonder if this could be related to prostate, not having a clue. And it's not. But it helped me go in, and I went to a functional medicine practitioner, called about 6 different clinics before someone could see me. And I'm thankful to God that this particular gentleman said, I don't trust PSA and I don't trust digital exams. You need an MRI if you really want to know what your prostate's doing. And I'm like, okay. And it came back with a PIRAD-5, which is the worst they have for MRIs for prostate. And he said, you need to see a urologist and oncologist as soon as you get back to the States, which was January of last year. So January 18th was when I got those results. Saw 4 urologists, a whole bunch of different specialists, naturopaths, scan after scan, test after test, trying to figure out everything. So I didn't want to just go for a biopsy, and I didn't want to go right into surgery, which is what they're telling me I needed to do. They said, you're not a good candidate for active surveillance with a Gleason score of 8, 9, and 10 is very aggressive. So I still did active surveillance, worked with a naturopath, worked with you some, got some infusions, a bunch of supplements, and did the Mediterranean diet for 8 months, switched to a keto, kind of a nutritional chemo for 2.5, 3 months. Brutal. I wasted down to 156 pounds, not because of cancer, but because of the diets and protocols and 70, 80 supplements a day. And then went back to Australia for Christmas again, and the same facility said, your cancer is unchanged. And then I went to a friend's funeral that had prostate cancer, and I decided that I can't do this much work again to have an unchanged diagnosis. So that's when I decided to have my prostate removed. And then a few days later got the call from my urologist that the pathology said that all the cancer was contained in my prostate, and I'm cancer free.
Yeah, what a wonderful thing to literally get his body dialed in, cleaned up. It was contained. It's out of the system. And there's some big lessons that you learned out of this. So share with someone that has been, either thinking they have cancer or diagnosed with cancer. What are some of the things that you wish you would know, or what would you like to share with people on this pathway?
If it's a prostate cancer that you're dealing with, because I believe vitamin H helps everybody in all walks of health issues, just knowing that some people overcome, some people pull through, a lot of people pull through to the other side, and they win, they beat it. It didn't feel that way for those 15 months. In fact, it was 15 months to the day that I found out that I had that PIRAD-5 in Australia. 15 months to the day later, I got the call that I'm cancer-free, which you can only imagine the relief of that. But I think, first of all, it was a lot of work to get my mindset shifted, because you hear the C word or some health diagnosis, and I couldn't sleep the first 4 or 5 nights. I just thought I was going to die. PIRAD-5, that's the worst reading they have on an MRI. I thought, there's no way, how am I going to beat this? And then meeting with you, meeting with others, like the confidence. The day I came in here for some blood draw and stuff in March, so I learned that in January, you were like, let's get the bone scan, let's get you on an IV. I'll stay late tonight so you can get your IV. Let's attack this. And that was very encouraging to say, I'm not just a victim of cancer, but I can do something about it. And I don't understand why some people get well and some people don't. I said from the very beginning that not everybody gets well. I understand that. And that's where faith comes in, to say, I've surrendered my life to God, and in His time, I'm going to go home. Don't know if I can add a single day to my life or not, but I'm going to do everything I can within my power on my part. Lots of roller coaster rides for the last 15 months, times of discouragement, and but stayed the course, and just thankful that. So what I would encourage people to do is just don't rush to the worst. And one best piece of advice I got from a good friend who's battling 3 types of cancer, he was given 5 years, 13 years ago. And he said, only listen to the facts. Don't listen to the what ifs. Don't read a bunch of stuff online because your story's not their story. Only deal with the facts. And right now the facts are, as far as you can tell, the cancer is contained in your prostate. That was a really good word that I don't run off and be fearful about something that's not even, official. So,
and Tony, you learned a whole bunch of things about medicine in Australia, about functional medicine, alternative medicine. Like you got a first row spectator seat in the way that different people manage healthcare and healthcare crises. But you also learned a whole bunch about food. And the power of food, of what it's like to eat to survive and not eat to be social. I mean, we talked a ton about that. We talked a ton about, this nutritional chemotherapy. I've told you, you are what you eat, you are what you absorb. We did some DNA testing. We've done, a diet a diet analysis to learn what foods you're sensitive to and what you're reacting to. But speak to someone that's watching and about food. I just think that you'll just give them value.
Yeah, well, I'm a foodie, first of all. Doing the Mediterranean diet for 8 months, I lost 40 pounds, and then switching over to keto, a reset, lost another 25 pounds, and I got down to skin and bones, and it was pretty horrific. And because my relationship with food has been such a love affair my whole life, it was a struggle for me to keep my weight down, and which I've done well off and on over the years, but this last few years I was just kind of more in rebellion after not all my other health issues got better, although looking back, a lot of them did from being here and getting infusions. But having to change my relationship with food, which is still a battle because we're going to move forward now with the new dietary plan for me. I kind of took the last few months and said, I'm just eating whatever I want. And that kind of was scary too. I was almost in rebellion, which is crazy because I was pretty disciplined, very disciplined for 11 months. And then when I got the results of the MRI in Australia saying your cancer's unchanged, I got pretty discouraged and said, well, then I'm going to eat whatever I want, which was just an excuse to go back to being a foodie. So I would say learn as much as you can about nutrition and the things that cause inflammation in your body. There's some blood tests here at the West Clinic that we've done and have been I didn't want to do them because I knew I wouldn't like the results. But at the end of the day, it's like, what do I want more? Better health or eat whatever I want?
And Tony, a viewpoint that I had on your initial scan and your follow-up scan was that, cancer is literally uncontrolled growth. And there's a primary site, there's secondary sites, there's metastasis. Like, we don't want it to go anywhere. And when they say that it wasn't unchanged, for me, I was like, that's fantastic that it's not going anywhere. And, we talked about all along, should we get it removed? Do you get it with surgery? Can you get it with nutrition? Can you get it with chemo? Can you get it with radiation? Is it green laser? Is it whole body hypothermia? Is it prostate? Like, we went over all of the different options. And then what happens now is I just think you have a unique just perspective. Oh my gosh, everything affects everything. The mindset's important. The diet's important. Knowing your options is important. Using, I feel, the best of both worlds. And we just looked at his blood under a specific, research project where we're seeing, is the blood showing characteristics of infection, of crinkled red blood cells, of stacking, and it looks fantastic. And so I would just believe that all of this work that you did in all of these different realms have led you to this outcome where now you have an opportunity to reach, teach, influence. It's your family, it's your wife, it's your calling in life, and it's just really special. Like, this is special for me, for you to share the message and recognize, like, you're the hero of your own story. You're writing the story. That's what was powerful.
Well, and I want to encourage people too, if you're watching this and you're dealing with prostate cancer It is one of the slower growing, it sounds weird to say, it's one of the best cancers you can get. Only 5% of men who are diagnosed with prostate cancer actually die from it. But 3 out of 4 men, I learned, die with it, not from it. And most of those men didn't even know they had it. It was autopsies after they died in senior men. And I thought, there's a good chance that this cancer may never get out. But because it was a Gleason score of 8, which is aggressive, I still did the alternative treatments, active surveillance, diet, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. And the people in my prostate support group online and Facebook, they're like, can't believe you had a Gleason 8 and that you just treated it by diet and supplements for 15 months and it didn't grow. They said, that's remarkable. So that was encouraging too, but I just want people to know that don't panic. It was a year ago, January, that my urologist said, we need to just take this out. And I said, not so fast. This is a big part of my life. There's consequences of potentially losing sexual function and incontinence. And so having to just go through all those grids and filter it all out, it's no two stories are alike. Everybody's different and individual, but having the understanding to be one, peaceful, that this isn't a fast growing thing. And again, most men die with it, not from it. And so just learn about it, learn all you can. Don't get information constipation. We drank from fire hoses for 15 months and it was kind of cruel. We almost dove in too deep, but never been down this road before, so we didn't know exactly. And took every opportunity to get a scan, to get a test, to try this. So anyway, I just think if you, one, I don't know that we can add a day to our lives, but I know that stress sure isn't a helper along the way. So being peaceful and just, I guess that's where faith comes in. And at the end of the day, everybody's going to exit at some point, and we don't know, we can't necessarily control that, but I'll do my part. God will do his part, and I'll be here until I'm done.
All right, guys. So what a fascinating journey through, health, through a serious diagnosis, through cancer, through all of the different viewpoints of it. And right now, he's told, hey, we can't find any evidence of cancer in your system. And now our goal is to support his health and his system so that it's inhospitable for uncontrolled growth to come back. So stress management, sleep, water intake, healthy foods, exercise, making sure that we have the ability now with the testing to design something that has the best chance of not having a disease processes happen. So I just was excited for Tony to share the story.
Not as excited as me.
Remember, you guys, you're not your diagnosis. And when you do have a health, concern, diagnosis, prognosis, a workup, that one of the best things you can do is to know all of your options and you be in part of your health. I think it's really important, and this is one of the reasons why Tony's doing great. We'll see you guys on the next video.
And I just consider that out of all the doctors that I've seen, that coming back to Dr. West has been my comfort place. In fact, I just have to say this. I was at a really low point, and I just thought, I was kind of rudderless. I had all these different urologists. They all said, oh, sugar doesn't feed cancer. I'm like, well, I don't want to come back to you. And then when you just called me out of the blue, and I'm like, I can't even believe you're calling me to check on me because I've been thinking about you. And I would say one of the first things you need to do is just come in here and get evaluated. And you even said, I'm not a cancer doctor, but almost half my patients are cancer patients. So that was very helpful because Dr. West does know a lot about this, and then he sent me off in this direction, that direction, different connections he had. So I think this is a really good first stop.
All right, you guys.
I wasn't paid to say that.
We'll see you guys on the next video.
Hang in there.